Hello, Renee Flamond here. When we get on the topic of how they impose upon us infraction after infraction and betrayal after betrayal and transgression after transgression, and it's one thing after another, we get very caught up in the why. What do you do? Why do you keep doing this? Why do you keep repeating this? To them, we're screaming, right? I'm yelling as if they're here, but we go through that. And then we try to learn a little bit. This disorder has taught us it is part of their cycle and it's what they'll always do and they can't change and all of this. An especially sinister part about it is that they enjoy seeing your reaction after each infraction, betrayal, or transgression. It isn't the normal person. When I say normal, I always mean non-disordered. If I do something wrong to somebody, for example, or you, or somebody, or say a couple, a married couple, and neither one's a narcissist, and there's a betrayal, it's gonna kill that person to come forth because hopefully that's what people do. They're honest with each other. They work it out, maybe whatever. It's going to kill them. They don't want to see their partner hurt. That's going to break their heart, that they broke their partner's heart. Why they did it could be, whatever. But my point is, let's not jump. Well, then why did he do it then? Let's not go there. That's not what this is about. This is about when they see your reaction. A normal person would be hurt with you. A narcissist, no. Part of the process for them is the, I swear, joy they get out of testing you. Every single time it's a test. They want to see how you're going to react. They want to see how upset you'll get. How upset you'll get. And they get a charge the more upset you get. I must have been fodder for, I reacted dramatically, so I fed right into it. We're going to get into this in a second, but I want to tell you to hit subscribe and like, and share this if you know anybody especially that needs a little nudge into the direction of education in this area. They might just, respond well to just getting a link. Subtle. When you start to think about all of the reactions that you've had to each one of their, we'll just say the word infraction, and that can encompass anything that's not on the up and up, any way they've treated you that's not honorable, any way they've dug at you, picked on you, whatever it is. Let's just call them infractions. With each reaction that you get, they're looking at you. Mine even said to me right out loud, I knew he was getting it. When he said this, I was like, oh my God, he likes that I'm upset. He said, I don't know if you love me if you hate me, or you hate me so much, but I don't know, maybe you love me so much and that's why you're so upset. Like trying to what? Give me a compliment that you're noticing I love. It was just odd. And then I realized he likes this. And I kept feeding into it. I did. Because I get upset if I'm wronged or hurt in any way. And I think many of us are like that. I'm not alone there, I don't think. And it can feel like you're backed into a corner, they say. Doesn't it? Like what animal? They'll go like that. Well, that's kind of what happens, right? In this relationship, in this kind of relationship. And they are testing you every single step of the way. They want to see how you're going to react. How much they can get away with. And there's something to showing them proper unconditional love. That's what's on our minds, as we've discussed several times before. You'll be the one to give it to them. You've vowed, you've promised, before you realized who they were, you vowed and you promised that you would give them unconditional love. At some point you made a decision, they tugged at your heartstrings, and boom, they got in. And now you'll show them the love that they need. The love they never received. You'll fix them repair their heart. You'll make it all better, right? That's what we go through. We want to make it better for them. Poor things, these poor unloved creatures, and they'll test those conditions. They'll stretch your limit, your patience. They will test that and stretch that. They want to see how much you love them. And they'll do that by seeing how much you can take. For them, it's proportionate. Right? They want to see how much you can take. Therein lies all the devaluing behavior. Just one aspect of it. Yes, it's their disorder and their snake-like behavior that they go through life with. But I'm saying this is a little side angle they get out of this. It's like, she didn't leave after that? Wow. Okay, well, let me try this. Damn, the girl's still hanging in there? Wow, how about this? It's sick. It's really sick. I had it on my mind that I'd be the one strong enough to be his answer, right? Unfortunately, we now know they don't have an answer. They don't ever get an answer. There's no solution for them. There's no person who will be enough. There's no situation that will bring them what they want. There's never going to be enough money. There's never going to be enough fame, power, control, ever. This is why they will search forever. And in doing so, in their search, they've come upon you, and now you're in the middle of all these infractions. You will, because you're a good person and you made a vow, a promise, you will knock yourself out in multiple ways with endless attempts. And you will get nowhere. None of us get anywhere. None of us. I don't mean you, I mean me, us. We don't get anywhere, but we're going to keep putting in the fight. So when you feel empty or depleted and like, why did I bother? I understand that feeling. I felt that. That's when you go through, oh my God, why did I do anything? And you might even stop taking care of yourself, taking care of him. Like, you know what I mean? You're just like, why do I bother doing anything? You're depleted because you keep giving, they keep infraction and betrayal. And what you keep giving and they keep doing wrong. And you keep only, a person can only take so much of that. And I kicked myself for having done many of the things that I had tried with him or given to him because he was testing me. And I didn't use the word testing in my head then, but I felt it was a testing ground for me to prove to him how much I love him, right? Because you're all wrapped up in it. That's what you think at the time. I realize now I didn't. I was just wrapped up in something. I didn't love him. I don't. But when you're in that, you're determined to prove it. So even though I didn't say, ooh, he's testing me, I thought something about this feels like this is an ample opportunity for me to prove to him my love again and again and again. And I'm not leaving him regardless of what he's doing to me. I felt great about the things that I didn't do any longer once I began to see, I definitely began to hold back, pull back, stop. I definitely stopped and started to stand up for myself. And I took the power back slowly, and you can too. Because once you start to see it, I was going to do anything. I didn't want to try anything. The most that I would try is fighting, screaming, crying. But in terms of the relationship give and take, I stopped cold with a lot of things. But you still gave, and you are too, and you did too, and you tried, and you put forth the effort, and that can kill, yes? Because we kick ourselves. Don't. I don't think we should kick ourselves. It happened. All we can do is move forward and watch what we do in the future. For them, if you're still entangled, or for anyone else in your life, or for anybody you meet in the future that with whom you might become entangled. I mean, the truth is, they'll never recognize anything that we do as significant, but rather as something that you should be doing anyway. So regardless of how hard we would knock ourselves out, in their mind, again, they might not use the word test, but it's a test. They're waiting to see how much you're going to give, how upset you're going to get, how big you're going to react, what you're going to do with that feeling, those emotions. Are you going to accept them back in? Are you going to be hugging them that night, comforting them as they may feign, being sorry or something? You find yourself comforting them. That's a true power play, isn't it? How much of a power trip is that if they get to say, wow, I have her comforting me and I'm the one that wronged her. She's the injured party and I've turned this thing around. It's all part of their testing ground to see how we're going to be with them. Do they take it as a sign that we love them? No, I don't think they really understand or think about love that much. I just don't think so. I just think they get a charge out of the power over your emotions, your reactions, and they have a control in them that wants to see you react a certain way. If they want you upset, they can do that very quickly, can't they? Little triangulation never made anyone smile. Mine did that a lot. That was a tool he used a lot, trying to make me jealous, showing me things, telling me things, whatever. And that to me is the act of a desperately insecure person who will never find anything proper. But I got off for a second, but they think you should be doing these things anyway, knocking yourself out, because they're entitled to be treated like a king or queen. Just because of them being them. Just 'cause. Seriously, like a 4-year-old kid. Just 'cause. Just per scuzz. I mean, honestly, I heard that in a sitcom, per scuzz. I thought it was funny. So here we are trying to prove, being tested all the way. No, it wasn't a sitcom. I think it was Home for the Holidays. Robert Downey Jr. says just per scuzz to his sister, Holly Hunter. Don't ask me where that memory came. That's where I heard that. Just per scuzz. We're trying to prove, keep going back in, being tested all the way. And we're still trying to hang in there and prove despite the ugly tests of betrayal they're throwing at you. And we stay. We put up with it. We accept it. We tolerate it. Why? Because we said we would? Because we said we would. I think that's why. It's like we accept it as our own test. And we're not going to fail it. We promised we're not going anywhere. Well, guess what? No, no, and no. No. This isn't what you had in mind when you promised. You were duped. That makes the entire thing kind of thrown out the window. And you're not betraying somebody if you promise them unconditional love and then you realize that they're a different person, so the unconditional love you promised needs to be now held in for yourself and for somebody else who deserves it. That's not you being disloyal. That's not you not going through your promise. That's not you failing this test after test after test. That's you standing up for yourself and telling them that they can take their test and get to step in and get the next person. And hopefully, God, I don't want them to get the next person. It upsets me. I really don't. I want them to have no audience from which to choose. But they will go forth and they will find somebody else and they will test them. If you look at it as a test, you may be able to find the strength to say, oh no, I'm on to you. And I'm not falling for it. It's just another part of their game. And I wanted to make you aware of that because every single thing that I thought of that helped me move forward, I try to share with you. And I remember looking at it like that, and I would say, once I was educated, we still went through a lot of devalue. Then I knew, I said, he's testing me now. And that's when I started to pull back. Once I realized the actual thing that was happening, not just the feeling you have that you're being tested and you were going to prove to him. No, 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 no. Once I realized he's testing me, this is calculated, this is manipulative. He's doing this on purpose to gauge my reaction. He wants to see my reaction. So I started to react like, wow, you're really driven by this disorder. It must really stink to be a slave to that at age 63. Ugh. I can't imagine I ever thought you were any kind of partner material. Wow. How's your life going? It must really be a mess, huh? Like, I stopped behaving in the way that he saw me behave for a while. I flipped it all the way around because I recognized it as a test. And it wasn't about, I'm going to pass this test and prove to him I love him. It shifted from that to, oh, I'm going to make my own test. I'm not even playing with you anymore. I'm not worthy of your little test, your dysfunctional little... Do you know what I mean? Keep that in mind as you go through things with your narcissist. It might just help you. You know what I mean? We all need something that'll help us turn a corner. This helped me.